A $278 billion wipeout this morning. Why? NVIDIA is the center of attention. What information is required here? We will scale up from the billions of dollars in black belt revenues in Q4. From then, we'll ramp up. These sell-offs are, in my opinion, buying opportunities rather than a reason to fear. Simply said, NVIDIA is something else. The stock and options market is a self-contained casino, and this report is no exception. In response to tonight's earnings, NVIDIA is predicted to move up or down 11%. Since we now see that Jensen W is ultimately flawed, it has become a little more show me. He is now flawed, although we didn't think he was. Perhaps some people believe that we are unable to assign a multiple to it. Give it a 30 multiple on a $5 number, and I don't think that's a significant call order. Why not? What the devil? However, I believe that when we learned that there were yield issues, we were all a little taken aback, David. We had the impression that it was turnkey. We were wrong to assume it was turnkey. There aren't any auxiliary businesses that were trading on eyeballs and having no revenue, etc., like there were in the 1990s. These businesses are quite successful. Both their revenue and EPS have increased by 100%. They're surpassing the street by exponentially greater numbers, after all. Simply put, it's not possible to keep up with their current actions. I believe it is feasible. You know, NVIDIA has experienced 30% drawdowns, nearly 8 times as large in the last 10 years of its existence. During those drawdowns, its P/E, NVIDIA's projected P/E was actually greater. NVIDIA's forward P/E is currently in the mid-20s, you know. Therefore, this appears to me to be typical profit-taking. I believe that in 2 years, NVIDIA will truly be a gift, even if it drops to the $190s. Are you a buyer on the drop after considering all of these? Do you encourage those who read your work and hear you speak here and elsewhere to do that? We are near that threshold since, for example, we estimated that the probability of a 7 to 10% decline between now and November would be between 7 and 10%. We have now dropped about 5%. We might be close to pulling for the full correction into September by next week, in my opinion. I believe that we are almost to the point where I would no longer be a seller here. Additionally, I believe that the S&P's lower range is between 5,400 and 5,350. We're getting close. I don't need to add anything here because I have a really great job at NVIDIA. However, because there is a lot of worry, I truly enjoy the price movement of NVIDIA as it enters earnings at the end of the month. Although there has been some technical damage, Mark Zuckerberg, Satya Nadella, and everyone else have assured us they are purchasing, so I am fairly certain Jensen will deliver all of their chips, Elon Musk. Therefore, I believe it will be a very high figure. At these prices, I believe that's a really solid addition because I believe that the market will begin a seasonally lengthy, favorable quarter at the end of the month. Going into results, I like NVIDIA at $109. My NVIDIA level has ranged from $106 to $105. There seems to be a lot of support there. In fact, NVIDIA is underweight, which was uncommon for me. Additionally, we started the day at 4.5% of NVIDIA. What is the S&P between 5.5 and 6%? In order to restore it to roughly 5.5% weight, I added NVIDIA. I doubt I have anything to add that we haven't previously discussed. However, the report was excellent, and I believe that at this point we are merely going through the motions. And a few months from now, I believe we'll be back above $230 before the end of the year. The report was excellent because, well, it had to be excellent. Indeed, the question is whether it was sufficiently high in relation to the stock's price action, the multiple, and the degree of elevation. What would you do about that? After the results report, I actually spoke with Ives, and he reminded me of something that, I believe, we all know, occasionally forget when we receive earnings for a single quarter. If you are currently optimistic about NVIDIA, you are not because you believe they will do $0.79 in the upcoming quarter, but they will do $0.76. If you're optimistic about NVIDIA, it's because you can see a scenario in which their $120 billion in revenue increases to $200 billion, and their earnings power is $5 per share. Furthermore, it is far too cheap for that reality at $16 per share. Now, if you don't think that's the case, then it's okay, fine, whether it's a year or two from now. However, you are in the stock because you do. As always, all eyes are on the guidance. Therefore, the guidance or estimated guide is close to $32 billion, near $32 billion in revenues, to achieve what Josh would refer to as a significant plus reaction out of the stock. How much more than that is required? Yes, indeed. I believe the buy-side rumors are closer to $33, $34, which, assuming you assume the other companies are worth a few billions of dollars, would likely indicate a data center guide of at least $30 billion. Thus, $28 billion was their guidance for this quarter. They are $28.07 or $28.08 on the street, which is a bit more than that. Street is between $31 and $31.08, or nearly $32 for the upcoming quarter. The likely bid range is $33 to $34. Do you think they will reach that point? Yes. This is what's interesting, isn't it? Everyone is curious about what the Blackwell delays could imply for this, but I don't think it will be a big problem for Q3. In any case, Blackwell revenues in Q3 were never going to be very high, and they won't be used to forecast Q4 or later. On that, perhaps we'll get some color. Naturally, August was a tumultuous month for the Dow, S&P, and NQ, with the latter two lingering above all-time highs. As we prepare for a jobs report and potential Fed rate reduction, what will September hold for stocks? Tom Lee, CNBC contributor and head of research at Fundstrat Global Advisors, is now joining us. It's nice to have you here, Tom. To be clear, NASDAQ will only benefit if it maintains its great performance today. Therefore, the net advantages won't be substantial. It's good to see you, Tom. No talk for a long time. First and foremost, how do you feel about the way the market has interpreted NVIDIA's financial results? Naturally, yesterday morning's pre-market saw the initial decline. It was operating normally until yesterday's session ended, at which point it did close down more significantly. NVIDIA, in my opinion, is among the stocks that have entered the realm of stock market legend. Nearly everyone has an opinion, and I don't believe that the profits and results altered anyone's perception of AI and its crucial role in both NVIDIA's and worldwide productivity. However, I believe that the sell-off indicates that a lot of positive news was already priced in. That, I believe, is the reason the stock dropped. The overall market remained stable. That was a really good result in my opinion, and it just goes to show that there is a lot of room for rotation. And the fact that small caps are among the categories that profit from that rotation is, in my opinion, telling. If you're looking at the valuations of some of those sectors that haven't performed so well in recent months and years, or if things have improved enough overall that you start to worry a little bit about valuations for the entire market, not just NVIDIA of this. Let's talk about that rotation, Tom, and how much work remains. Given that the equity markets have been growing for a number of years, our clients are undoubtedly questioning us about valuations. However, I believe that the concept of a rotation is based on a few factors. One is that small caps and cyclical stocks benefit from the Fed's lower rate path. We also know that investors de-risked due to the end crisis and general summertime concerns, and that there is a lot of money on the sidelines. The Fed's September announcement and NVIDIA's performance, in my opinion, will provide the impetus for some investors to actually complete the rotation. If you require any other changes, please let me know.